fighters are pussies, okay? They're
Okay.
only good in the ring. People
But pro fighters are only good in the ring, says Wes Walnut Watson. Well, let me tell you something. If you believe that a guy that's training for 5, 10, 20 years, yeah, perfecting his craft, in whatever type of mixed martial arts, maybe a combination of ground and stand up, if you believe those guys, when they get out of a ring, they don't know how to throw hands, you're absolutely delusional. You lost your mind completely. Like a dude like, let's say, a Mirab or a Ilya Topuria, or smaller in comparison with this guy, they would absolutely demolish you in not even in 10 seconds. They won't even need 10 to 15 seconds to give you a rainy day. You're absolutely demented if you believe that for some reason. I don't know why he believes that. Maybe the walnut is very small. But if you really believe that professional fighter, the moment he comes out of the ring, somehow he's losing all that skill, you have problems, my dude. You are gone in the head completely.
I know will not accept a loss, okay?
Okay.
If a pro fighter did his jujitsu on him, then the guy's gonna come back and duct tape his family, okay?
Okay. So we have a real tough guy over here that believes that if you get beaten up, you can go after and duct tape his family because you're aggressive and violent and somehow that kind of explains that, you know what, a professional fighter is not a real professional fighter. Like they're not real fighters. Like he said in the beginning of the video, they're cussies. Apparently, in his tiny little brain, he cannot comprehend that a professional fighter is a professional fighter regardless. And yeah, you may know, I'm not saying he knows or he doesn't know. Obviously, this is bravado on his part. And you may know violent people. Put those violent people on a one-on-one with a professional fighter, and in 5 seconds, the professional fighter is going to have the W. Now, if you talk about guns or knives, or, we involve a bigger crowd of people with weapons against one guy, then of course it's a different thing. But if you're realistic, the professional fighter would win a fight because he's training to fight. That's his job. They're fighting in the ring. He keeps saying ring, but it's actually octagon. If we talk about MMA fighters, it's the octagon, not the ring. But anyway, they are fighting there because they are paid to fight there. Mr. Walnut, let's continue.
You don't want to fuck with the wrong people. And the wrong people out here in the world are not pro fighters. You guys need to wake up.
Well, to be honest with you, the wrong people are also not juice heads full with tattoos that cannot even swing once, that cannot go on 10 stairs without breathing heavily, that are having this persona of I'm an alpha. Those are not the wrong people. They are wrong in the head, but they are not the type of people you would want to have you back. Now, I would understand for someone that doesn't train and doesn't fight, and they would look at someone like this and say, oh man, he's intimidating. Because, if you don't train, and let's say you're more of a chill guy, the type of guy that you choose mind your business, and obviously you're not going to be the type of guy to go in his face. You're not going to want that back. So, I understand how someone like him be intimidating. But if you know how to throw hands, if you're trained, it doesn't even matter if you're trained in Sambo wrestling, in Greco-Roman, in Jiu-Jitsu, in Muay Thai, in boxing, in kickboxing, whatever or a mixture of everything like MMA, you would absolutely demolish these people. You would have zero problem. And obviously when it comes to a fight, they're usually in gangs. Like these cowards are always like in gangs. They don't come one-on-one. They are not. That's why he's saying the wrong people, as in plural.
These are very big time squares. Pro fighters are the epitome of squares. They're like, come in the ring and I'll fight you. The people I grew up.
I keep saying ring. I told you it's octagon. And yes, they fight in the octagon because they make money in the octagon. Poor girl is so ashamed by him. It's like, oh god damn it, the walnut is so small on this guy.
Up with and went to prison with, they don't give a fuck about a ring. They don't give a fuck if they're on camera. They don't give a fuck if they have to fucking live the rest of their life in prison.
The thing is though, if you are bragging that you were in prison, or you're bragging because your friends were in prison, you're kind of a big walking L. You know, a smart man makes his money and tries to stay out of prison, not to stay in prison. Now, obviously, someone that cannot control himself, someone that has a sort of very, very small brain and no critical thinking, and you know, they think these type of things are, oh man, tough, smart, amazing, can't believe it, he's a prison, oh yeah, look at that, look at the tattoos. Listen, against an average guy that never lived and never trained, and yeah, they would be more intimidating because a lot of prisoners, that's the only thing they do, train all day. But against a professional fighter, to act like this clown and say, well, they're just squares, they're nothing, they're cushies. You are demented, my friend. Gone in the head completely.
You will not beat them. They will not take a loss. You guys live in a fantasy world where
We live in a fantasy world.
pro fighters aren't the biggest squares on the planet.
Well, I would say, in all honesty, I would love to see you fight a pro fighter. And it doesn't even need to be a UFC pro fighter. And it doesn't even need to be your size. Fight a pro fighter for real. Not sparring, for real. For real money involved. Fight him for real. Show us how much of a dangerous man you are.
UFC fighting is gay. Like all that shit, like MMA fighting and all that shit is for people who never really were in fights. Like they
Oh my god. Like I don't even know how to respond to this. I truly don't know how to respond to this. Like someone that's training specifically to fight, don't know how to fight. Like this guy is just from a different planet, man. This absolute buffoon, and there are so many like them, like so many of these juice heads that can barely swing and pretend they are like the conquerors of the world. Like, bro, relax. You're selling a course online. Relax. You're not Alexander the Great. Jesus, what an absolute embarrassment of a man.
never whooped ass their whole life. So they're always like, I'm gonna train and fight. Like
They never whooped ass even though they fight in organizations and they get paid for winning, and oh my god, can someone please just shoot me already? I can't take the second-hand embarrassment anymore.
always just handled shit very easily. I never
Yeah, she's looking at, oh my god, this guy's so retarded. you can see in her face the embarrassment. That's exactly how I felt when he said that. That's how I felt from the beginning of the video.
had to think about fighting because I always just extinguished the problem however I had to. So the point is like that's for people who like never could really fight. They had to go learn to fight. I mean, people
No one learns, no one knows how to fight unless they learn how to fight. Like if you believe that some dude on the street that cannot even keep his hands up, that knocked out some small dudes, is gonna be a better fighter than someone that trains every day for 5 years, you are really mentally deranged, man. You're mentally deranged.
who just handle business, they don't have to learn to fight. There's a difference between fighters and violent people.
What's the difference?
You should really stay away from violent people because it doesn't matter how good you are at fighting when they want to take it to the level.
You know what's the difference? He's talking about fighters and violent people, as in fighters cannot be violent. Fighters can and are violent, it's just that they're disciplined enough to keep that violence in the sparring sessions, not 100% in the sparring, but in the fighting obviously, and in training. When they train and they fight, they release that violence. That's why they are training a lot of them. To not go on the street and be an absolute walnut like this guy refers to. This guy is talking that, well, someone goes to the next level, yeah. If someone would take a gun and shoot a professional fighter from a distance, yeah, he will win. But that doesn't make him a better fighter, Mr. Walnut.
Take you out. And so there's a huge difference here. You guys have it all misconstrued. Fighting is some weird sports shit that is all these people do, and it has nothing to do with violence. Because
Yeah, it has nothing to do with violence. Like, if you guys ever watch MMA fight, especially old school or even now, like, do you remember when Tony Ferguson was on a 12 win streak? Do you remember his opponent's faces? Yeah, there is that, and that's one example of one fighter, you know? Yeah, the fighting is not violent. Like, how can an MMA cage fight be violent? Now, sometimes, don't get me wrong, it can be a quick knockout, It can be a submission, quick submission, like, it doesn't go bloody, yeah? But that doesn't mean he's not violent or that he doesn't have the potential of being violent, Mr. Walnut.
A violent person will end your life.
And then go to jail for the rest of their life. Congratulations, you played yourself.
And this is the thing. You guys need to quit thinking that UFC people are going to be able to fuck around with violent motherfuckers. Because a violent motherfucker won't lose.
Can you please stop swearing, man? I barely start my YouTube channel and, you know, I'm not even monetized, so can you stop with the swearing, Mr. Walnut? I know you're a tough guy, I know you're a man among men. But just relax, yeah? Relax with the MF, with the F this, F that. Like, I know you're a big boy. You're a big boy. You wipe your own ass. That's a big boy right there.
He won't take it. And you'll be like, wait, put the gloves on. And he's not going to hear it. And it's going to be a problem.
Put the gloves on the street fight, yeah. I really think this guy needs some mental help. Like, at this point, it's not even funny anymore. He's just a guy that's unfortunately gone. You know, the walnut is corrupted. No soul, no self-respect. And let me tell you something. If you trained, even if you trained for a few years, I did train for 3 years. Now, what I did was nothing, was amateur type of stuff, yeah? If you would actually train, you would know the amount of training and hard work goes into it. You would know and you would understand that it's not easy. You would understand that you need to respect these guys, especially the pro level guys that are, in all honesty, at a whole new level. These guys are absolutely brutal and they can destroy you in real life. You might look at them on the TV and say, not a big deal. Man, trust me, if you trained, even a little bit, like I said, you would know and you would show respect because they deserve respect. At the end of the day, this is not an easy sport. And any contact sport, doesn't matter if it's boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, doesn't matter. It's a sport that requires dedication, discipline. You need to eat properly, you need to train properly, you need to sleep properly. You know, for someone like this guy who's a complete juice head, you know, a steroid head that has no morals, no virtues, no common sense, to come here and say, well, all professional fighters or cushies because I say so, and, you know, if some violent dude would came to wipe them out, bro, you're just an embarrassment at this point. You're just a huge embarrassment.
For you. So what?